Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jai Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtota Saraswati A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Maya ki, Jamuna Maya ki, Tulasi Deva ki, Bhakti Deva ki, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki, Go Premanandi, all glorious to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you put that up somehow? Thank you. Where were you reading from? Give me my money.
Come back here.
From here?
Yeah, just after you go to
Just give me my money. That's what the line says. As if we think we own anything. What do we have to give? We have to give up this idea that we have something to give, you could say. Consciousness. Om Jnanatimrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Shvayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nevasesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhus, for being here this morning, giving us association. And unfortunately we're losing the association today of His Grace Madhusevata Prabhu and His Grace Sridhar Chaitanya Prabhu, physically leaving us around about between 9 and 9:30, is that correct? That's the idea. They're going to Paris and then onwards here and there. But they're coming back shortly, is that right? I see you're coming back in June. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I saw it on a list somewhere. Pardon? If we're still in the shell. If we haven't been shelled yet. Yes, we're all living in a shell. Not a very safe shell. But if we use it in Krishna's service, it's a very safe shell, we could say. Anyway, we'll read on. So last time you read, we are reading from Our Master Has Not Finished His Work. It's pretty early days. We're back in New York, I guess, in 1967, I would assume. It's 67 here. It looks like Srila Prabhupada's, I wasn't here, I haven't been here on Sunday for a while, but it looks like Prabhupada's been in hospital, is that correct? He had a heart attack, he was in hospital?
He didn't went to hospital yet.
Pardon? He didn't go yet? Okay, he hasn't gone yet. Okay. All right, yeah, okay, here we are. Prabhupada's had a heart attack, and his health, devotees are very worried, and what to do, they call a doctor, and it wasn't easy, there was some day going on, and hard to find a doctor. Eventually one came. It's getting progressively, as we know in our modern society, how difficult it is now to get a doctor sometimes, isn't it? It's not as easy as it used to be. Or despite all of our so-called advancement, to make a dental appointment, it can take months. Even operation can take months. I don't know how is it in Italy, but in France, it's so difficult to get, supposed to be a society protecting people, but it's like it puts you in more anxiety sometimes. You have to wait weeks and months for an appointment. And then here, at least in these days, I remember when I was a kid, You never. I hardly went to the doctor. The doctor would come to us. You make a phone call, within a very short time, the doctor would be with you. It was different. And it was a very personal interaction. The doctor knew you, you knew the doctor, you felt very secure, comfortable. Now you don't know who you're seeing. He doesn't know who you are and doesn't probably care either. But we're in a different world now. I mean, Gopaswami is probably one of the last of the, the glorious doctors. He still does that here at New Mayapur. He spent an hour and a half the other day with one of our volunteers, right, who had some medical problem. He goes anywhere. He just tries to help devotees when in need. And this is, the mood of service, the mood of devotion. Anyway, this doctor wasn't quite like that. It seemed like, anyway. He wasn't very happy coming to the temple, the Radha Krishna temple, which was the storefront. I suppose they're still in 26 2nd Avenue storefront. Just a little, and some of you have been there. And it's very small, and there's no deities per se. It's not like we would call a temple, it'd be a preaching center. Prabhupada was staying behind, and I'm sure many of you have been there, in a room behind. You've been there, Krishna Charna? You haven't taken your wife yet to New York. You never took your wife to 2nd Avenue? You don't take her everywhere, but at least some places. 2nd Avenue is like, you could say, probably even said that this movement really started in Tompkins Square Park. 2nd Avenue, Tompkins Square Park, it really grew, it really surfaced. You could say that it's a little bit under the surface, a few devotees, but it really surfaced, it really blossomed when Prabhupada took the devotees out on Harinam Sankirtan in Washington Square Park, and then consequently in the late summer or in the fall they went to Tompkins Square Park on Harinam and inviting people back to the temple. It was a standard practice. Of course, we're a slightly different situation, but in any city temple, that was usually the program. On Sunday, we would go on Harinam in the morning and all week inviting people for the Sunday feast, the love feast. So Prabhupada started that program there in 2nd Avenue. Actually, he started the love feast in the Bowery. The first love feast, that's right there in the diary, in the Lilamrita. He started the love feast in the Bowery. It wasn't quite the same, but he started the love feast there. They didn't go on Harinam, and those were not so familiar with things. They were just guests, basically. Prabhupada was doing everything. So anyway, Srila Prabhupada's health here is suffered a physical sickness, health, heart attack, whatever. And the devotees didn't know what to do. The doctor came and said, oh, he's got influenza. You know what influenza is in French? Is it the same word? Huh? Grip? Grip. Grip. So, just a cold. He didn't really look into it, And many times that happens. They don't really look in to see, I mean, did you say the other day, doctors, one very elevated doctor, someone said, in reality, we only know about 5% of what's actually going on inside the human body. That's just an estimate. They don't really know if that's accurate either, but probably not a question of more than 5%. If they say 5, it's probably less. In reality, the brain, the systems working, is absolutely inconceivable, isn't it? As of the miracle, I mean, how it all goes on is incredible. There are things going on in our body we're not even aware they're there. We say it's my body, we don't even know what's in our body. Quite incredible. There's not just the blood system, you've got the lymphatic system, is that right? Quite a complex system of cleansing the whole body out, and then you've got some kind of, under the skin is another kind of layer of some kind of adjusting plastic, or I don't know, plastic, but something. All sorts of things in the body going on, which sometimes they discover that this was there. They didn't even know it was there until recently, So many things gone. Who's operating all of this? It's incredible. The doctor comes, oh, he's got a cold, and goes away. Where's my money? That's the first thing he said. Give me my money. We paid him, the doctor left, and Swami got worse. Jai. Great doctor. The devotees called a second doctor who came and diagnosed Srila Prabhupada as having a mild heart attack. He said that Prabhupada should at once go to the hospital. Some of you know what that would be. Mild heart attack. Max Lerner, a lawyer friend of the devotees, he said, I got a call one day that the Swami had had a mild heart attack and I could be of some help. At that time, they were going to take him to Bellevue Hospital. But I suggested that at least I could try to get him into a private hospital. After several hours of talking and negotiating with people at the hospital, we were able to get Swamiji into Beth Israel Hospital. Brahmananda. The day after Memorial Day, we had to arrange for an ambulance. Beth Israel had no ambulance. So I called a private ambulance company. It was all arranged with the hospital that Swamiji would arrive at 9 o'clock that morning. But the ambulance didn't come until about noon. During this time, Swamiji kept moaning. Then finally the ambulance came, and they were horrible guys. They treated Swamiji like a bundle of cloth. I thought it would have been better if we had taken Swamiji in a cab. Except for Kirtananda, who stayed in Prabhupada's hospital room as a nurse, no one else was allowed to stay. They all went back to the temple to chant throughout the night, as Prabhupada had requested. Interesting point. And some of us, of course, remember. You may, I don't know, you may not there during Prabhupada's time. But Gopaswami, Madhuseva, the Prabhu, and anyone else who was around will remember these pastimes when Srila Prabhupada would externally appear to be sick. Huh? Here is one incident of this. But what is the result of that? What is the result of his apparent sickness? Pardon? Chanting. It brought us all to that point. Huh? And I'm sure you were in Italy at that time, right? Not this time. I mean, later when Prabhupada was in 1977.
I was in India.
In 77, you were in India. You were right there. You were in Mayapur?
I was in Mayapur, and I went to Vrindavan just 2-3 days before he left.
So you were there in Vrindavan when Prabhupada left?
No, I just arrived 2 days before. Then as soon as I got down, they called me and they said, go back to Calcutta. You go back to Calcutta. I was in Calcutta actually. Go back to Calcutta because Prabhupada may come to Mayapur and Calcutta, so you have to make the arrangement. So I just saw Prabhupada. They were taking him to the palanquin around, and I just saw him, paid obeisances, and I caught
Next train.
another train after 24 hours, another 24 hours of train. So and after 2 days he left.
Wow. So for many months, probably from maybe April, I don't know exactly, but maybe from April onwards, all over ISKCON, we were praying. My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please keep Srila Prabhupada, save Srila Prabhupada, keep him with us. We all could not conceive that Prabhupada would leave. What to speak of the devotee in 1967 who practically had next to no experience, didn't know how to put tilak on, practically speaking, or any very, novice in their practices of devotional service. In 77, we also began to realize that, what's going to happen now? Prabhupada, please, Krishna, how will we carry on? It's only natural. And extra kirtans, extra book distribution. In Europe, at that time, we were right in the heart of the book distribution service, you could say. And we accelerated our book distribution during that 6 months. When after the Mayapur festival, we had basically a non-stop book marathon from like April through to December, more than 6 months, 8 months, non-stop book marathon. And when Srila Prabhupada came to London, he came in 1977 at the end of August for about 12 to 14 days and stayed in the manor. And during the time Prabhupada was there, we doubled book distribution. It wasn't like we're all hanging around, oh, can I do something? Prabhupada's mood, yes, do something useful. And that was what pleased Prabhupada, when the devotees would sacrifice like that, and still do, of course. And we doubled book distribution that 10 days or 12 days when Prabhupada was, whatever it was, when he was there. Everyone was so enthused to please Prabhupada. It brings this mood out of surrender. The business, the service of the pure devotee is to evoke within us this mood of surrender, of giving up our own egotistical desires to satisfy my conditioned, illusory idea of who am I. And we realize that we exist to surrender, to sacrifice, to give up what likes and dislikes we may have, and put the desire of the spiritual master as our sole intention in life. Focusing. And then the spiritual master takes us, you could say, into another realm in due course of time. To focus, as was the case here. That all night they stayed up. These are young, basically just maybe, some of them just a few days, some of them maybe a year at most. Hippies. They were just, basically all hippies before they had a good fortune of coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada. And now they're staying up all night, not to, have a trip or something, which is what we used to do. But now they're staying up all night chanting Hare Krishna. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And but now all night long. Wonderful, huh? How Prabhupada has evoked this spirit. I read something day before yesterday. I would recommend a read. It's not a difficult book to read. It's a book by Giriraj Maharaj. Finished it. It's very easy to read. And it's the latest book he's produced. Do you remember what it's called? Dancing White Elephants. Yeah. Dancing White Elephants. Prabhupada used that term. In India, 1971, the devotees were going with Prabhupada all over India, north, south, east, and west practically. Here's Surat and Punjab and Mayapur, of course, Bombay, Vrindavan, Delhi, all around Madras, all over the place with Prabhupada. Various programs, big pandal programs. Can you imagine? Shamsundar Prabhu, how he organized that huge pandal program in Cross Maiden in Bombay, in Mumbai. Later, a huge pandal program in Calcutta, another huge one in Delhi, a smaller one in Madras, like that. Big programs, tens of thousands of people coming every day for weeks to hear from Prabhupada and join in with the kirtan. Maybe you felt like that, but you did it, at least you surrendered to doing it. And, things were happening like incredible. Huge signs up all over Bombay, Hare Krishna everywhere. Talk of the town. Incredible things going on. Anyway, it's one of those easy read books, like, there's so many devotees are giving us that insight into associating with Prabhupada, that personal opportunity. Lilamrita, of course, is a general one, but there are many in very personalized ones. So let's see where we read here. Here, Giriraj Maharaj. I'll just read some of his quotes. He said, Prabhupada said, he told us to just try to understand that Krishna consciousness will not always be easy. And then he said, 3 things are required for success in Krishna consciousness, and you must always rely on them. 3 things are required for Krishna consciousness, and you must always rely on them. What are those 3 things? Huh? Yeah, you're right. Enthusiasm. What can be done without enthusiasm? It certainly won't fulfill the mission if we're not enthusiastic. What to speak of our own progress in spiritual life or pleasing Guru and Gauranga if we're not enthusiastic? But that's another subject to discuss what that actually entails. What else? Yes, Leela Manjari. Patience. Very good. Now you read the book. Did you read it? You got it in Vrindavan or in Mayapur this year. And? Humility. Very good one. Where do we get to here? But Prabhupada uses another term. We often use sincerity. Oh, they're all there. I mean, there's so many qualities which are part and parcel, you could say, of surrendering consciousness. There's one other thing, which is underlying, in a sense, the whole process. Pardon? Faith. They all go sort of, synonymous with each other, simultaneous in one sense. But one specific thing he says. Pardon? Surrender. Very good. Pardon? Tolerance we mentioned already. That's the first one. Huh? Determination. Very good. That sounds a bit like enthusiasm. But here it said, determination said willpower. Your will, your desire. The desire. Desire is the underlying, you could say, main principle of everything. We're here because of desire. You go back to God, ultimately Krishna's mercy, but our desire has to be there. Krishna doesn't force a person against their desire. The devotees try to. Try to force people to take a book or surrender or do a service or whatever it is. It's tough sometimes because we don't have the will. We're still, we still got our own self-concocted will. Our will is not yet Krishna's will. The Bhagavad Gita, for instance, is Krishna's will. We have to apply the will of Krishna, then we'll inherit the kingdom of God. That's how it works. Krishna has left his will. The devotees are always trying to help us to abide by Krishna's will. And if we abide by that will, then tenu kampam susumikshamana, that mood, then one becomes an eligible candidate to enter into the kingdom of God, the will of Krishna. So the pure devotees are trying to help us to realize that and work in that direction. So 3 things he said are absolutely essential. Enthusiasm, patience, and will, or desire, you could say. And let's see, we'll go on here. A little bit, what's this? Yeah, as is always the case, as was the case in 1967, in 1971, in 2024, there are challenges. There are institutional challenges, there are personal challenges, there are individual challenges. There are challenges on all sorts of levels, difficulties, some misunderstandings occur, and sometimes, not such good interaction between devotees. Well, that's the material world, especially in Kali Yuga, of course. And here we're going to see, let's see. And Prabhupada was discussing what to do. And he arranged a group of devotees to try to meet to sort the situation out. Giriraj Maharaj and Jamuna, and I don't know, I can't remember, maybe Tamal Krishna or something. Prabhupada said, you 3 have to meet, discuss regularly, and try to sort this problem out. But then Prabhupada changed the mood, Giriraj Maharaj said, just next sentence, basically. But then Srila Prabhupada's mood seemed to change, and he said, actually, we should not become too involved in such matters. Because our real business is to hear and chant about Krishna. And if we become absorbed in making material arrangements, we will forget our real business of Krishna consciousness. That doesn't mean management doesn't go on to facilitate our real business. It has to go on. It's essential. Giriraj Maharaj said that again. Prabhupada told him in 1977. Besides sincerity, you have to be intelligence. Has to be intelligence and good organization. They have to go on, but it's to facilitate the purpose of the movement, which is to hear and chant and spread hearing and chanting about Krishna. So it's very early age, 67, and Prabhupada's already doing that. In fact, if we look back at Prabhupada's lectures in 1966. It's quite amazing. He's speaking on Chaitanya Charitamrita. Quite high philosophy. Young people who don't even know the ABCs of Krishna consciousness. It's all completely new. I was introducing, one of the first books published was Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You know, Bhakti Shastri. Finished, 19 chapters. That's it. I probably didn't write it for that reason. We may not be able to understand it. We may not have the eligibility to apply it, but we should know what the goal is. Isn't it? It may be, I missed it. Prabhupada said even about the Krishna, you don't try to, analyze or try to apply as if we're already on that level of adhikar or eligibility. But we hear it. It's purifying to hear it from a pure devotee of the Lord. It helps us to understand how rich and how deep this Krishna. It's not just a dogmatic religion with some ritualistic practices. This is the reality. This is our real home. This world is not our real home. It's a perverted reflection of reality. This is reality. We think, oh, this is just some nice stories. We believe this. We believe that so many things in this world, then we find out they're not true, but, it's life. In the world, it's illusion. This is reality. Prabhupada's giving us reality. So it's good to have a look at it, even if we don't understand it, to read it at least. Wow, what a future we've got. What an amazing, it's not just, for the rest of your lifetime, you're like, yes, sir, yes, sir. It's incredible. In fact, if we read, in the Nectar of Devotion, for instance, the different, divisions of the Nectar of Devotion, different ways there, when we read, different favorable relationships and unfavorable relationships. It's the whole essence, you could say, the root of even perverted psychology is contained therein. And when we hear the real psychology of the spiritual realm, it helps us to get over our nonsense and analytical endeavors to control our, never-ending wild minds. It's amazing. It's not just there to, for the sake of it. It's there for our purification. It's there for our ultimate objective purpose. These are very high literature. I remember one time I just read the Nectar of Devotion. On the Sunday feast, the boy came. His name I've forgotten. I think he was in Greece for quite a while. He became a disciple of Prabhupada. That was the first book he got. He came because he got the Nectar of Devotion. You think, my goodness. Pardon? Also, Nectar of Devotion. No, it wasn't Sikshastam. It was a boy in London. There was a brahmachari in London. But not Sikshastam got the Nectar of Devotion also? In Greece, yeah. There you go. Incredible. So powerful, so potent. Just to touch the book. Reading a few words. You may not understand it. You think, what is this? I've never seen anything like it before. Prabhupada has brought to the world in general. It was hidden there, you could say, and what's hidden in India, but Prabhupada has brought to the world. He's opened the doors to the spiritual world for everyone. You just have to, take it, that's all. You just have to take it. It's like a doctor, he gives the medicine. If you don't take it, what can be done? Right? Sometimes patients were like that. You give the medicine, they don't take it, right? Well, they take it once, they don't take it again, they don't like it. Or they think they're already cured, and they give up taking the medicine, and then they get sick again. You have to take the recipe. What do you think, Richard?
What is the origin of Bhakti Rasamrita? Because the one we have is the one from Banuswami. But was it another before?
What do you mean? We're talking Nectar of Devotion by Srila Prabhupada. You're talking of the study, the guide, whatever it is, by Banuswami, 4-volume guide there with commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti and Jiva Goswami. That's been there all along. Prabhupada summarized all of that in a digestible way, in a practical way, a way that we could, apply in our lives. Maybe later on, if we have a teacher Everything. You know, furthering your entry into the bhakti you made. It's not necessary. Everything's there in Prabhupada's nectar devotion. From A to Z. Huh? Right from the beginning. Nectar of instruction. The Prabhupada writes in the nectar of instruction. It's like a condensed application of nectar devotion in one sense. It said this nectar of instruction is written specifically for neophyte devotees. Neophytes. It takes us from where we're at, and it starts at the deep end. In back to the what can an ordinary person on the street make of that one? A sober person. That's all they think when they read that. You're not drunk. That's about all they can make of that sentence. You've sobered down from being drunk the night before. Therefore, I'm able to make disciples all over the world. You've got to read the introduction, the preface. Also, it's quite amazing. The preface and introduction of Nectar of Instruction really are a set to read. To get a little bit of an entry into the subject matter. Sometimes we like to dive into the deep end, as many people do. And we all know what that's like when if you don't know how to swim and you dive into the deep end of the swimming pool, you're in trouble, right? You're in trouble. When I was a kid, I can't remember it, but it was an amazing experience. It just goes to show. I was apparently about 2 years old, and we were on holiday in a holiday resort in England. They do have holiday resorts. They have beaches, beautiful beaches, and they have sun, and sometimes. And we were at this holiday resort called St. Ives. My father told me years later. And I was a little toddler, and I ran into the ocean. And they have surfing on this beach. This is one of the few surfing beaches in England. I ran into. I didn't know what it was. I was just saw everyone else running in. And I just ran into the water, and I got swamped. And I didn't have no memory. My father told me. And he somehow was running after me, and he grabbed me just in time before I got completely swept away. And from that day on, I was terrified of going underwater. I'm not now. For about 20 years, why? Everyone else didn't have a problem. I couldn't even jump into the swimming pool. On the speaking of dive, I was scared. I could swim, just about, but I couldn't go under the water. It was like a panic. And that's the whole material world is like that. In lifetime after lifetime, have created our various traumas, our various misconceptions, our attachments, our fears, and everything else. This lifetime's only one of countless experiences, accumulating to formulate our present illusory perception of the world around us and who we are. It's difficult to change, because they're unlimited. But by the ones who, I say, never ends. Pardon? Sorry?
When I get to sleep.
When you're lucky if you can sleep. You're a lucky man if you can sleep. You're blessed, at least you can sleep. Some managers can't sleep. It never ends, You were saying, who was saying? It was Sundar Gopal. He was quoting Elon Musk. Is his name? Is it Elon Musk? Rich man. What was that question he asked? They asked him a question. What do you think about death? What's your, because, yes, everyone has to face it sooner. Even if you're Elon Musk, I don't think he can buy his way out of death. And he said, I think it will be a great relief. Whatever that means. Even a great person, suffering is there. And Prabhupada said that here. Don't think that this world is anything less than that. Prabhupada went on, he said that it is their tendency to discuss mundane topics. And that we should be careful and try to minimize mundane talk. Of course, none of the devotees don't know what that is, do you? Mundane talk? Nobody talks anything mundane here, do they, Vishnu? No, I'm sorry. Do we? No, never. Never. You only use the WhatsApp and the Facebook and the internet for pure devotional service. Right? Absolutely. When you sit at prasadam, you're just relishing the transcendental sound of Krishna Katha. Or someone said the other day, Gopaswami said the other day, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, if you want to give up, was it sense gratification, the urge of the tongue, then you have to stop eating and honor. Stop eating, but honor prasadam. How many of us are in the consciousness of honoring prasadam? Not so much thought is there, is it? Probably we don't even, I've seen in many places, we don't even mechanically chant the prayer. We want to speak of consciously chant the prayer before we take prasad, which we were given by Prabhupada. Isn't it? Hardly. We're still there talking. Someone's on their own chanting the prayer behind the serving counter, and everyone's talking or jostling to get in front of the queue or looking to see what's in the pots or something like that before they make a decision. It's a kind of a, well, it's better than nothing, but it's not a very transcendental situation, you could say, in one sense. Yeah. Honoring prasad. Is that right, Gopaswami Prabhu? He said you have to learn to honor prasad, not eat it. Give me more, give me more. I don't care if no one else gets anything, but just give me more. You know, sometimes devotees come up with already eaten a full plate, and there's like 20 devotees still queuing up, and they kind of go right to the front and give me more. There's only a little bit left of that preparation. You know, we have to learn to honor prasadam. It's not just something to satisfy. That's there for neophyte stage. And it's there for service, but we don't live to eat. Huh? Do we? We don't live, we don't serve. Now, our service is not eating. We eat so that we can serve. Huh? Is that right? We got it the right way around? I think so. Yeah. But sometimes we forget that. And what to speak of mundane talk? We all read it. It's nectar of instruction. It's all over the place. Prajalpa. Prajalpa, prajalpa, prajalpa. Bhakti Siddhanta said this is the secret. To the degree that you hear Krishna conscious talk, and to the degree that you hear non-Krishna conscious talk, that's what determines basically your advancement in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we remain rooted in our attachments. We like to hear criticisms. We like to hear fault finding. We like to hear, speculation. We like to hear topics concerning whatever type of sense gratification which attracts us. Or we like to hear negative things, or we like to hear mundane subject matters. Excitement, material, so-called excitement. We hear today from maybe Srila how certain class of people love to hear the suffering of others. They actually get great pleasure hearing of the suffering of others. And so on. We like to hear subject matter concerning, some kind of sport or music or some mundane thing. Even the subject matter of going to heaven, be it highly praised, is a mundane subject in reality. Our business is not to go to heaven. I want. What will fulfill my wants? Ultimately, yes, our real want is love for Krishna. We don't accept that. Even in devotional service, we put sometimes our wants ahead of Krishna's wants, and there is, of course, naturally that's going to be there in the growth stages. But the ultimate goal, you should understand, is not that. Our goal is simply to please Krishna. That is our objective goal in life. How to come to that platform of simply pleasing Krishna with no other ulterior motive whatsoever. It takes time, it takes association, it takes willpower, it takes determination, enthusiasm, and patience. Prabhupada went on to say, then Prabhupada said, everything for Krishna, nothing for me. One for most of Krishna, four for me. Prabhupada went on to say that the world is a place of suffering. Suffering was impossible to avoid. Prabhupada is showing that here. He's in Israel hospital. He's showing, he's bringing us at different stages to the point of realization and surrender through his various interactions with the world around him. Suffering was impossible to avoid. Sometimes we spend our whole life trying to avoid suffering, practically, mental and physical. You cannot avoid it in this world. It is dukkhalayam shashvatam. It is a place of suffering. Kalayam literally means a place of suffering. Right? That's what it is. From the highest planet down to the lowest planet. It is a place of suffering. Even if you are Lord Brahma, there is still, although it may not be as prominently present as it is in our situation, but it's still there. Death comes. There's always some risk there, especially in the heavenly planets. There are always the fears in the background that the demons are going to come, something is going to happen. That's the nature of this world, fear. Fear behind everything. Those who want to make spiritual progress tolerate. Again, the word tolerate comes up. They forgive. That's another tough one, isn't it? Forgiving. We read about it. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not a scholar of the Bible. I think there's some famous statement there about forgiving others, those who we think have offended us, etc. They put aside their differences to serve a higher cause. And that's a secret. To serve a higher cause. All kinds of things. In the early years, when I joined, I guess it was transition stage, it was still a little like the family stage where there was not much distinction between genders in some ways. There was, obviously, at certain levels, but the boys would, all be mixed up in the kirtan and sit together during class and so on and so forth. And Prabhupada said in London, he said, because you're so absorbed in your service and your higher purpose, you're not even noticing it. It's when we get on the bodily platform, and we're not saying it shouldn't be there, there are other aspects of that. But in principle, one must actually fully absorbed in devotional service. All of these obstacles, all of these hang-ups, don't bother one. There's no room for them. That's why Prabhupada made it clear that we should be engaged. Many times the devotees would ask Prabhupada, how can we please you, Srila Prabhupada? How can we please you? And Prabhupada would answer differently according to the different time, place, and circumstance. Everything. Just keep 24 hours a day engaged in devotional service. Whatever service it was, but just keep fully engaged. That's what devotional service means. That's what bhakti means. It means full engagement. It's not a part-time occupation. That's also encouraged, but that's not the goal. That's not pure devotional service. It's when we're fully engaged in service under the guidance of the pure devotee of the Lord. So to be fully engaged in services, and we all know, we've all experienced probably even now, what that's like. I'm sure our temple managers know what that's like, and Africa knows what that's like, don't you? 24 hours engagement, over-engaged, and everyone has an opportunity to help there, but I don't know how much we're willing. The willpower may not be there. But, that's the goal of our lives. Prabhupada, they say let's say in material words, if you want something done, ask a busy person. I'm not going to quote that. They're already doing that anyway. But that's a fact. Because people are not doing anything are lazy people. They won't do it even if you ask them unless they want to do it, something they like doing. They're missing the whole point of their lives. Sacrifice, surrender. Sure, it takes time. We have to at least realize that's our goal, how we should pray for it, endeavor for it, full engagement. Look at Prabhupada is obviously an absolute example of that. Now, the moment went by. In the midst of managerial crises, you could say, in the midst of so many challenges, Srila Prabhupada is still glorifying Krishna. He's still preaching Krishna Katha wherever he goes. Just like here, big management crisis in Calcutta, and the next second Prabhupada is saying, share your business is Krishna Katha. He's giving us his example. He's sick in the hospital bed. Just chant Hare Krishna. the devotees, I guess they were having a struggle. But all night they arranged all night kirtan going on. This is a real business purpose. Hare Krishna. So that's called the book called Dancing White Elephants, and this is this. Prabhupada engages for elephants. That's quite an elevated life form. I wrote that to Giri Raj Maharaj, thanking him for the gift. You gave me that book, doesn't it, Lochanda? Giri Raj Maharaj gave it, didn't he? Thank you. So I wrote back to him thanking him, and I said, Maharaj, you were so lucky to be one of those dancing white elephants. So fortunate to be under Prabhupada, a dancing white elephant being made to dance by Srila Prabhupada. I said, I'm aspiring to be a dancing white pig. Because I was born in the land of pigs. Pig farms, family were they were previous, not my father, but my previous family were pigs, they were bushers. I worked in a pig farm. It was all pigs, surrounded by pigs. The town was called Pig Hill. It was a big mark. So Prabhupada picked us up from these incredible situations and made us dance for Krishna. That's amazing. Some of us, like from elevated families, Namaka was from high class Brahmin family. Right? It picked us up from anywhere. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. That's the real miracle. Whether we're hippies or happies or scientists, even more miraculous, the persons who are educated have come to Krishna, so-called educated. Even more miraculous. That's the hardest one of all, attachment to, mundane education and conceptions that come there with it. It's very hard to overcome. It's pride, attachment, and so many things are very strong. It's very hard to give that up. That's the greatest miracle, that so many educated people have embraced the path of pure devotional service. You have a little way to go. It's quite miraculous. Even persons with physical disabilities, mental disabilities, there's a place for everyone, and Prabhupada has made a house for the whole world together. No matter what their condition, there's a place for everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Jai. You have to rush off now to paradise. You went to paradise, is that right? Paradise. We call it paradise, not Paris. There's only a little difference in between. If you take that little bit out, it becomes paradise. Put it back in, it becomes paradise. It's still connected to paradise. It's not far from paradise. You're on the border of paradise. Hare Krishna. Safe journey. Any comments or questions? Yes, Christopher.
Which one is the last of, I think I know 3 of them. You said like it's difficult to bring good people on
we just threw a few examples. It could be any example, and all miracles. The hippies, drug-addicted hippies, which is obviously the prominent one of many, beginning all but many. All kinds of people. People who have mental and physical disabilities. You may only advance to a certain point, but it's incredible that everyone. That's why Rupa Goswami calls this Krishna consciousness universal. It's not sectarian. This is really speaking, this philosophy is the only non-sectarian one that exists in reality, because it can embrace every creature, not just even those in some form of human body, but it can embrace where it can accommodate even birds and beasts and trees and grass and everything. And it goes everywhere. I was reading yesterday how one pure devotee is chanting the holy name of the Lord, how it benefits the whole world. They say that the sound vibration goes in subtle form 7 times around the world, so they say, before it fades out. So the sound of one pure devotee chanting benefits the whole world.
And in the beginning, like, not sure
well, they may be. I wouldn't say that was what attracted me to Krishna consciousness, but as a general principle, people need to be fed, you can say. I mean, we were already fed, so you could say that. We didn't attract, but we were well fed because we're from England, but people who are starving hungry, yes, they need to be fed. Tasty. Yeah. That was one of Prabhupada's special hooks or special ways of attracting people to Krishna consciousness, that's for sure. Believe me, that any prasadam cooked with devotion is very tasty. Even if it's just a plate of khichdi, people, what is this, you know? It doesn't have to be a rasgul and a samosa. But if it's tasty and means it's offered to Krishna with devotion and prepared properly, it can be extremely tasty.
When you see a devotee, the teaching is more, it will be attached to Krishna consciousness. When you see a devotee, it's prasad, you will take some distance.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Prasad is really...
That's, I think, some tactic to try to make you finish your prasadam. Don't leave any prasad. We had all kinds of tactics to make sure nobody left any on their plate. Not one grain of rice should be left on your plate. That was standard. Prabhupada did not like even sannyasis leaving one grain of rice on their plate. Yeah, so prasadam, yes, for the general public, especially in our restaurants and Sunday feast, it is very special. It's very opulent, you could say, relatively speaking, by restaurant standards. It's very special. And it does attract. The Sunday feast, one of the parameters to decide who to teach to, you'd watch what they were doing over the plate of prasadam for a few minutes. And when you saw that they were really into it, this is a good candidate for Krishna consciousness, especially the halva. The halva. And the halva, well, I guess my taste buds are not quite what they used to be. I don't know because I don't eat halva now, but they, last time I can't say I never tasted the halva like the halva we used to have in the early days. But again, that's maybe just with everybody. It's kind of childlike experience, which are always more sweeter than the nature of repetition of apparently the same thing. But I don't know, just so unbelievable taste, unbelievable, so wonderful. But the first thing I did in terms of application, practically, I was already chanting Hare Krishna before I went to the temple. But the next thing I did in application was to get the recipe for halva, and every day at home I was cooking halva. Every day before going to work, I cook a bowl of hot halva. I got a recipe, and every morning I would cook halva and offer it to Krishna before cycling to work. 6 kilometers to work. And still, the memories are still there. The nectar, and I felt so blissful, relatively speaking, when I would cycle to work. I felt so good. Every day. Halva, a bowl of hot milk, a cup of hot milk, a bowl of steaming hot halva, date halva, date and raisins and different things, and like that every morning before going to work, and a banana. And after work we go. They say in the West, go to work on an egg. We say go to work on a bowl of halva. Much better. Yes. Krishna? It should be very tasty to attract that sense of.
I remember when you said one time when we met in your house, it was one evening, with the disciples, and about preaching here in Mayapur, especially to people coming across the volunteers. something like that. Like, we should do more.
Yeah, we should do more, but that's like a topic even in itself, and something which can be discussed in a relative format when it, right time. Not something for open. We should try to, and that's what our life's all about. Trying to do better, trying to chant your rounds better. A lot of it stems from that. It's not just about implementing rules and regulations, or time will come. Anything else? Prabhupada. Yeah, go for it. Sacrifice, surrender. Interchangeable or not? They are two different words in one sense. Yoga and tapa. And virtimya. Surrender. Surrender is on different levels. Sacrifice, you could say, in terms of our situation now. In the spiritual realm, these terms are not really, you could say, relevant because it doesn't make sense. It's not what is it, a sacrifice? Everything's Krishna's, your Krishna's, Krishna's yours. Surrender. These are terms for those who are not surrendered, those who still test things, those on the body of life, those in some form of illusion, be it spiritual or material illusion. And sacrifice, meaning to give up something which you're maybe attached to, you don't want to give up or something, on a very simplistic level. You sacrifice something for a higher cause. It may be in just to move to surrender, though. There may be other motives involved. Surrender, we can see, for instance, in the, without much trying to find details, but surrender in terms of, let's take the example of Bali Maharaj, for instance. Prabhupada uses that as a good example of surrender. He's Atma Nivedana. He gave everything he had to Krishna, pretty much, even his own body. So we can surrender. He surrendered everything. When you lose what you have to surrender. So he gave up the fight and he surrendered. But did he really surrender? Yes and no. His wife said no. She said, you stupid fool. You haven't surrendered after all. Now you think it. You gave this, you gave that. You thought it was yours, now you've given it to him. So where's the surrender here? It wasn't yours in the place to give. So where's your surrender? So real surrender is to realize we don't have anything anyway. Everything belongs to Krishna, including us. It's the realization of that. Giving up any idea that there's any difference, any differentiation, any seeing differently. This is mine, I'm giving it to you. This is my body, I'm using it in Krishna's service. Now, in the stages, that will be there. We're sacrificing our time, we're sacrificing our God-given gifts, we're sacrificing our money, we're sacrificing our talents. You could be out there right now, Sunday morning, you could be sleeping probably at this time in the material world. Many people get up late on Sunday. Or you could be out to, pious person, maybe going to church, or you may be going somewhere else for a sports event, or you could be whatever it is. Later in the day, maybe you could be watching TV, you could be having a Sunday lunch, you could be going to the pub, you could be going whatever, doing whatever nonsense you're doing, but you sacrifice that for a higher cause. As a student sacrifices parties to study, but that's not necessarily surrender. His desire is still strongly there to enjoy parties, but for another purpose. But this is different. This surrender is the only sacrifice Prabhupada gave here. In this age of Kali, the yoga, the sacrifice for this age is Nam Sankirtan. And by performance of Nam Sankirtan, we will surrender. Surrendering is a gradual process, step by step. We lotus feet of Krishna manifested in Nam Sankirtan. As it appears as the holy name. We worship the lotus feet of Krishna in Kali Yuga by embracing Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy name. So it's a sacrifice, and it's also, you can say, the only means to surrender. Fully surrender. Every stage is a degree of surrender. The sacrifice is the way the Lord has appeared to bring us to that point of full surrender, giving up all other shelters. So let's go and honor Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We're also heading off to Paris today for 1 week. Hare Krishna. Paradise, yeah, well it is paradise because when we are fortunate enough to perform the Sankirtan Yoga, it becomes paradise. It becomes nectar. In the heart of Paris, there's a place called Châtelet-les-Halles. Right? So in my office this year, I was talking about this a little bit. And Châtelet, I found out, means like a strong gate, like a fortress gate to a citadel or whatever. Châtelet, like a fancy gate type thing. So there's a gate, an L, Leal, so strong gates to hell. So using play on words, so, you know, how Prabhupada you were so merciful. Even at the gates of hell, you're there trying to, you know, bring people to Krishna consciousness. Even at the gates of hell. Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, Premanandi.